Kimpex stop, so I don't suck the whole works in, but you can. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Maintenance with Mike. So today we're going to be doing a quick demo on the KFI 72-inch poly plow. I've made a couple changes since the last video on the fair lead roller and stuff, and I want to show you what I did there. I want to do a demo on it, show it going up and down and how well it works. I also want to show you how easy it is to store it. If space is tight for you, like it is me, I can basically just back the machine just inside the garage door, pull the two pins, and then push the plow back underneath the machine, the push tubes. So it really helps in saving space. As well, in this video, we're going to do a quick walkthrough on the electrical, where I mounted the solenoid, where you can do the same. This will be specific to the K9, but it applies to any connection for a plow. You have to put the solenoid somewhere. You have to have a trigger wire from the ignition, unless you disconnect it right to the battery if you don't want the unit to run. If you want the unit to run without having the key on. So anyway, we're going to cover that and more today on this episode. Let's get started. Okay, so you can see that I have the plow basically pushed right up to the machine. You can basically grab it and slide it back and forth a bit. And then what I do is I tilt it up like this. You can see now that is clearly outside the garage door range here. So it just makes it really simple. And you can leave all this attached, right? This can all stay attached. You don't have to do anything but these two pins. So basically what you do is you lift up on the plow. There is a little bit of adjustment that has to be done, obviously. But it's pretty. There's one. Put the cotter pin in. Go to this side. Lift up slightly on the plow, or push out slightly. Put the next pin in, and put the cotter pin in. And that's it. You're on your way. Now the plow's mounted. Let me show you that. You can see those two pins, how easy that is to come apart. You can see also here that I changed the fair lead from that multi-roller to an actual plow pulley. So the wire, or the synthetic rope, comes out of the winch now over this wheel and redirects the tension straight down. So this is I think it's called a plow pulley, and it basically bolts up to the winch plate from KFI. So I'll show you how well that works today as well. So you can see inside the machine here right now. I'll turn on a light for you. I did not mount the winch switch into these banks of switches here yet. This switch is too wide. And when you take it out of this case, it's not tall enough to cover the blank. So I'm going to have to order a specific switch for this from KFI to fit in this size with the hazard and the wiper switch. But for now, all I do is I just drape it over the gear shift knob, and I can basically hold it on my thumb while I shift and stuff to go in and out. Not really a big deal yet, but I definitely want to change it so it's in here. So let me turn on the ignition and show you how well the plow works. So we'll do the key. There's the key on, the dash light's up, and I will grab the remote and come out here so you can see. You can see the lights are on, the ignition's on now. I've just got the little remote here outside the vehicle so you can see the how well this wheel works now to redirect the tension straight down. See that? So there we go. That's how quick that goes up and down. It's quite quick. And you can see that's almost, I would say, 2 feet plus off the ground. I do have a stop on it that I could move down. This is this Kimpex stop, so I don't suck the whole works in. But you could probably get another 6 inches or more out of there. But I can't see why I would need the plow any higher than that. So one quick thing that I want to mention is, when I put this fair lead roller on, I pulled out about 10 feet of this cord and made sure that when I got down to this last 3 feet, that the cable was coming off the center of the drum of the winch. For obvious reasons, is this can't move side to side now because it's going through this wheel, right? So you wouldn't want the winch cable on the roller of the winch way off to the right-hand side trying to come out and do this, right? Like, you want to make sure that you've got it running in the center of the drum on the winch. It makes it a lot easier for the machine to pull it in and out. So what I do is, when I'm ready to put it away, I let out a bit of slack. Don't know if that's really necessary, but for me it just helps you have a little bit of maneuverability. So I've let out, maybe 12 inches there, 10 inches. I just turned the ignition off. Then all we need to do is go down underneath here, pull this pin, set it on the ground. Sorry, pardon the back. Pull this pin, set it on the ground, come to the front of the machine, and basically just push back. And you can basically push it right up to the machine and save yourself. Now we're basically back inside the sensors of the garage. And if you needed to, you'd have to back the machine up another 2 feet to leave it all attached. So that's pretty quick. Okay, so as promised, I'm going to give you a quick tour here. So inside the trunk, there's this little plastic bag and a connector. So what I did is I drilled a hole large enough inside this trunk liner to push this cable through, because I don't plan on taking this out very often. But you'll see there's a bit of slack here. This is basically so I could plug in that other winch cable to stand outside the vehicle and use it. So let me unscrew these thumb screws. We'll pull this unit out of here, and I'll show you where I mounted the solenoid relay and the wiring. You kind of have to figure a mid position because they really only give you, like, I think it's 4.5 feet of cable to go either to the winch or to the battery. So if you mount the solenoid way up here, the cable that goes to the battery, in this case, would not be long enough. So you can basically lift this right out. So here's that secondary winch cable that goes up into the little trunk area here. So let me get the light here and show you exactly where I've got the solenoid mounted. So let me quickly just point it out. So the solenoid is right here, right at the firewall, and the connection is over here where you pick up the power from the ignition key. So this is basically from the front. We'll be coming in. I'm going to show you where the solenoid is mounted. This is a chunk of inner tube. There's the solenoid right there, where the wires connect to. It's just a chunk of inner tube so that nothing can touch the terminals on the top, and it kind of keeps it a little watertight. This orange braided cable is the cable that comes around and down to the winch connection. Those are just the conductors that they give you in the packaging, wrapped in a fabric material to protect it. Right against the firewall and the power steering, you'll see that orange braided cable. That goes down into the skid plate tray where there's actually some saddles that the brake lines loop through, and you can just run that cable through those saddles as well and then come up to the battery. So it's actually quite nicely done. There's the windshield wiper fluid. Now you know where we are. And that connector that you see right there is a 4-wire connector, and the red wire of the 4-wire connector is the trigger. So we've spliced into that, and that's where we picked up the ignition power to turn the solenoid on. Okay, and I just put a little bag over top of that winch cable with the Ziploc, and just do up part of the Ziploc just to, you know, keep the gross amounts of water off of it. So there you have it. Thanks for watching another episode of Maintenance with Mike. So that's a quick demo of the KFI 72-inch poly plow, and a quick walkthrough of the wiring where I mounted the solenoid and the trigger wire and all that, specifically for the Kioti K9. How easy it is to pull off the pins and store it and recover about 2 feet of space on the front of your garage or shop when you're storing it. If you find these videos helpful, maybe consider sharing them with a family member or friend. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.